The first album, Piano Moods, is an eclectic mix of pieces that I did over a period of time. The first piece, Child's Play, was actually started when I was in college, like 100 years ago, and reprised and changed for this album. And the second album, Seasonal Suite, I actually wrote section by section in the season it depicts. I like going for the fusion of classical, jazz, folk, and quirky. My friend Tip will say something later about his improvisations on my pieces. My friend Ari here will share more later in chat about what his mission is with music in Second Life. And we hope you enjoy this unique program. You're welcome to respond to what you're hearing in local chat. And later, we will be talking about our approaches to composition and improvisation. And we'll invite you to ask questions or make comments. Tip will indicate when the first album's complete. It's less than 20 minutes long, and please hold your applause till then. And this will be followed by that improv called Reverie. And then we'll be streaming in the second album, Seasonal Suite. Each of these albums is very short, less than 20 minutes. So the very first piece, the Spring Awakening, is the only piece with another instrument on it. Everything else is piano. Now, you used to actually play the clarinet, right? In the olden days?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And he found a beautiful one here in Second Life. He went clarinet shopping. And Tip will now start the streaming. I hope you're all relaxed. It's very relaxing music, isn't it? Most of it. Tip, you're going to do Reverie now, right? Do you want to say anything about the process of your improv with it, or you want to save that till later?
Well,
You're going to do Reverie now. Do you
I'm
want
going
to
to
say anything about
basically play the piece, and then I'm going to see what
process of your
happens during improv. So, with any luck, hang on just a second. So, right now, I am going to turn on the stream. You're probably going to have to restart your streams because that's one of the things about streaming in Second Life. So, here we go. Let me see if I can do this all. All right, you still hear me? Yeah, you're going to get a little of this on the stream, but the stream is on right now. So, toggle your streams now. So at this point, now that we're all good, and I think I've got everything there, then I'm going to begin with first with Reverie, and then with an improvisation on Reverie. Here we go.
Can people hear me? I want to just give a little note about this second album. In the autumn section, you're going to hear 6 parts. The second, fourth, and sixth are identical, except that they speed up each time. And the idea is that autumn is trying to hold on. And then you'll hear in the most sped up version in the last section, at the very end, it lets go, and that goes into winter. Tip, let us know when the music's about to come on.
Okay, I'm starting the stream. You'll have to restart your streams.
And that's the end of my 2 albums. I hope you enjoyed it and that it relaxed you. I tend to create short, relaxing pieces. Tip, why don't you come sit up here with us?
Okay, hold on a sec. You might want to turn off your streams. You still, I shouldn't be. There we go.
Okay, who's left here? We've got some of my old friends here. Tuya and Liz and Music Man, Clon, Blindman, Esteban, Stranger, Zeno, Fran and Electra, and Georgie and Matilda. Yay! Okay, well, if you have any comments about what you've heard, or you have any questions, you can ask. But first, we're going to just say a little bit about what our approach is to music. And I want Ari also to pitch in here because he's like our silent partner, but he communicates in chat and he makes a great contribution. So, Ari, in the chat bar, would you please put your background story or a few words about why I play piano? And I'm going to read in voice. In her 1813 French story, De l'Allemagne, Madame de Stael envisioned herself watching a ballroom filled with dancers, and she imagined her reaction if she'd been unable to hear the music. Sometimes the reality of this world disappears all at once, and we feel ourselves in the middle of its interests as we should at a ball, where we did not hear the music. The dancing that we saw there would appear insane. That's a quote. So, tell us what you're trying to do here. I think you have a script that you've prepared for that. Music can add sanity to a world which often seems insane. In addition, it can provide a pillow for the spirit, joy for the heart, and wings for dreams. Those are reasons enough for me to, quote, play. And Ari, please describe for people who don't know you what you actually do here. Okay, so Ari streams recordings of piano music that he loves, and he shares it with people, and they come to chill out and relax, maybe divide up their work week so that they can get a little bit of heavenly relaxation in. He plays really wonderful recordings here. Periodically, and one never knows, but if you're in my group or in any of our groups, you'll get notices about when he's going to next perform. He often performs right on this island. So if there are any questions or comments, other comments for Ari before we, Tip and I, say some things? Yes, Ari is a great addition. He says the only payment he wants is smiles. I love that. Okay, so, Tip, why don't you say something about your approach to classical improv for people who are not familiar with you?
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I've been working on and off with Marley for about 6.5 years here. And she puts on something called the Octagon, which is interesting because you improvise to live artists building various structures here in SL. I've had some fun doing that. A little about my approach. It's fairly technical, I guess, though the outcome should be aesthetic and beautiful. I improvise around written music or around my own specially designed templates. I'm not an ear player. Just as I was improvising around Reverie, I was kind of taking the chordal structures and going to town, expanding, doing all kinds of things. And that's more or less my approach.
And it was beautiful indeed. I love hearing what Tip does with my pieces because I can hear this familiar to you, and then you'll hear exactly what's happening there. And sometimes it takes hearing it a couple of times to hear what's going on. My approach is Well, first of all, you can tell that I write fairly short pieces, and most of them are almost hypnotic or relaxing or appeal to a quiet spirit or soul, and they're intended to just put people in a very mellow kind of place, but in a way that is not necessarily totally predictable. So that's why I said that a part of my description is that I like to combine classical, jazz, folk, and quirky element to my pieces. I love to have feedback about what the effect was on you and anything else that you might like to say. Thank you, Liz. Any other comments about the music or its effect on you? You know, this is the first time that I've streamed both albums into Second Life. Fran, I could feel the changes in the seasons. Okay, great. Yes, soothing is a good word. Oh, that's good. I'm delighted, Blind Man. What was it like for me to hear it? Well, of course, I've heard my own music dozens and dozens and dozens of times, which is why playing it for a new group of people is so interesting to me if I know how people are responding to it. But of course, I enjoy what I write. That's why I write it. Every little bit helps. Okay, great. Well, if there are no more comments, then we'll just end the session. But I'm going to stay around in case anyone wants to say anything. And please go to my, click on the albums if you want to hear the pieces again. They're on my website, and you can also download them. And there's some other music stuff there. Okay, well, thank you all for coming, and hope to see you again at another event.